I've pressed record. You can start.
Cool. Good morning, Girl Coders. My name is Danyiko Simbine, and I will be hosting the Girl Code live chats that will be focused on various females in tech. And today I'll be speaking to Anita, who is an information security professional. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you so much, Danyiko.
Anita, can you please just give us a brief overview of what cybersecurity is?
Okay, so I think I'm going to avoid using a technical or a textbook definition and use a simple analogy or an explanation of what cybersecurity is. So think of it as your own home, and you want to protect what is inside your home. So you wouldn't want to give someone a key to your house, and you want to protect it by all means to keep the burglars out. So you'd have a gate, you'd have a door with a lock. You'd make sure that you lock that door every time you go to bed or leave the house. And if you want to provide an extra layer of security, you'll have burglar bars. You wouldn't want to leave your windows open, or even if there's a back door, for instance, you'd always make sure that your back door is locked. And for instance, let's say you keep valuable jewelry in the house, you'd make sure that you have a safe for the really, really valuable items inside your house. So basically, cybersecurity is a means to keep the bad guys out of your house. And in this case, the valuable that are in the house is your information. So that's where cybersecurity experts come in. Cybersecurity experts are the ones who help fight cyber criminals, stopping them from accessing your information and basically keeping people safe. I'm sure we all know someone whose identity has been stolen one way or the other. And things are so easily available on the internet that it's not that hard for hackers to try and get some information. And we've also seen a couple of famous people, celebrities, even politicians lose control of their social media accounts. So yes, so that's what we are. We're there to keep your information safe, guard you against all sorts of cyber crimes.
Oh, wow, no, that's so interesting. It's a slight relief knowing that there are people out there who can help with keeping our information safe, especially with all the expert hackers out there. And how did you get into cybersecurity? Can you quickly just share your journey with us, please?
Okay, so my story is a bit of an interesting one. So I sort of got into cybersecurity by chance, and by purely having one person believe in me and take a chance on me. So I studied at NMMU, and initially I wanted to study photography. And at the time, it didn't really seem like a viable career choice. And then someone suggested either IT or engineering to me. So I had no clue what exactly it entailed, but IT seemed like the more better choice between that and engineering. So I registered for software development, and I began to do programming. And then like about a year or so into it, I realized that this programming is really not my thing, and this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. Besides the fact that I'd failed, I think it was C# at the time. I failed. This is first year. So now I'm thinking, okay, what can I do now? So I decided, okay, let me go back to the drawing board. So I liked what IT had to offer, but there was just this aspect of it that was just sort of like not clicking with me. And I realized, and retrospectively, when a lot of things happen and when you fail, you look at it as, okay, you failed, but I think it was just not the right fit for me at the time. So I went back to the drawing board and saw what other options that I had, and also needed to take into account that I don't want to waste another year of my time.
Yes.
So that's when I changed to IT support services and networking. So I carried on. I studied that, and then I graduated, right? And then from graduating, there was a module that we had in IT support services that was information security. So this was fairly new at the time, because when you think security, okay, you don't really know what it sort of entails. So I got a bit of light from that module that I did. And then I proceeded to get into the job market. So my very first job had nothing to do with security. I was actually doing warranty returns for an IT retail distributor. So what that meant was I did call logging, basically, like first line support for the guys inside the stores, the retail stores. So it was like your Incredible Connections, back when they were really selling a lot of, IT tech stuff. So I'll do first line support between the stores and the retailer, right?
Oh,
Yeah. So I did a very short stint there because the job was very stressful, but I learned quite a lot. And then from there, I landed my first service desk job, right? So I got into service desk, first line support.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I learned a lot of the fundamental skills that I actually have today, like now that I look back at it, because from there you deal with a lot of things. When the calls get logged, they get assigned to you, you sort of like have to filter it down to the right people. So that's when you get to know how everything sort of interlinks, and you start connecting the dots in terms of how IT works as a service, right, to the business. So I did that, and I wasn't really quite happy with that. So I moved from my first help desk job to a second help desk job. So a couple of months into this new help desk job that I had, I was introduced to the new information security manager, right, at the time. So we'd always have conversations and interactions that were like very directed towards information security issues. So there was an information security team, an infrastructure team, a networking team. It was divided like the development team. So I'd always sort of like lean quite a lot towards that field, that space of information security. I started helping them out with a lot of their problems, and I started like knowing, a few of the basic stuff. So a few months later, during one of our interactions, he asked me what I had studied. And then I told him what it entailed. I told him about the module and everything. And then he told me about an opening that he had in his team, and that he actually needed someone to join his team as soon as possible.
Oh, wow.
So then, yeah, so I then began the process. I applied for the job internally, and then, but then I had no work experience, so I had to prove myself. So literally, it was me having to go and learn, read. So while I was working, learning the job, I had to go read up about a lot of concepts that were new to me. And
Yes.
luckily for me, I had someone to sort of guide me to in terms of what do you need to learn first, how to build from it. So he said, I'm going to give you 6 months. And then after 6 months, we do a review. So then I stuck to it. And then within the 6 months, I signed up for a course at UNISA. And I put in all the effort, the work. And so 6 months later, we sat down, and then he appointed me as an information security analyst. So that's basically where my career began. And I think I worked there for about three to 4 years.
Yeah.
Yes. And then from there, it was, it was amazing. After that, I moved on to banking. I worked in banking for about a year or two. And then from there, I then moved on to where I am now, broadcasting. So I work at MultiChoice. So pretty much doing the same kind of job, but obviously in a different field. So with information security, you learn very quickly that when you move across industries,
Yes.
your priorities sort of change. So the priorities that I had in the financial sector are different from the priorities that I have now in the broadcasting sector, where content is not that content is less important in other industries, but what we protect the most is our content, making sure it doesn't leak, people don't get access to it, and that sort of thing. So it's interesting that you can sort of fit into any industry and still be able to add value to whatever industry that you sort of land in.
Yes, I guess that's the beauty of cybersecurity, is that variety. And I'm
Yes.
glad that you actually shared your story right now, because I doubt that people, when they think information security, they don't also think broadcasting is not the first thing that comes to mind,
No, definitely not.
Yes, generally it's your banking sector, you know, the usual. So the fact that you're in broadcasting and you share that side of it, it just shows that it is so broad, you know. And thank you so much. Your journey has actually been quite inspirational. It's crazy how it actually stemmed from a few conversations actually with
Yes.
yeah, no, that's amazing. That's amazing, and well done on getting to where you were and not giving up actually.
No,
That's
thank you.
kudos to you for that. And then as a female in the space, would you motivate other females to get into it, and why?
Definitely, I would, because like I mentioned earlier, cybersecurity is very fluid. It's an interesting career field because there are so many other, you know, aspects to it that people don't know. So you find that within the cybersecurity blanket, you get about 5 different job roles. For example, we've got digital forensics and incident response. That's a whole career role on its own. You
Yeah.
have cyber risk. That's also another career role on its own. You've got endpoint security, you've got network security, you've got ethical hackers. There's just so much that you can do. And to be honest, there's a very big skills shortage, especially with females in the
Mm.
industry. Very hard to find sound females in the information cybersecurity space because there's so many few of us. There's so few of us, and maybe some people are just not aware of the opportunities that are there.
That is correct, and
Yeah,
hence why we actually even thought of having these chats with
yeah,
certain professionals so that we can just give more insight to our girl coders.
yes. Because if I didn't have the opportunities that I was given, I wouldn't have known about a lot of these things. Sometimes you need, that mentor. You need to hear someone speak about it, and you actually like, this is something that I would like to do.
100%, 100%. And that's also one of the reasons why Girl Code exists. Not only to bridge that gender gap, but to also bring awareness
Yes.
for the various areas in IT. No, so I'm very glad that we were able to get you to join us for this chat. So in order to get into cybersecurity, what would you advise our girls to study towards?
Okay, so in my opinion, any
Mm.
undergrad degree in IT would be beneficial. I've actually seen a lot of people from very interesting academic backgrounds end up in cybersecurity. I've seen people who have studied financial information systems with a bit of
Yeah.
an IT background. I've seen them quite a lot in the field. I've seen people with a more technical academic background, like your networking engineers and things like that. I've even seen developers in the field. So it's not necessarily limited to one particular course.
Course.
So
Mm.
as long as, I always say, if you have the passion for it, the ability to learn, you can apply yourself, then you can get into that field. Because there's this misconception that people think you need to be a coder in order for you to be able to get into cybersecurity. It's beneficial.
Yes.
It will work to your benefit. You will
Yeah.
have an advantage when it comes to certain things, but it doesn't guarantee you like bigger success or anything better if or you're not at a disadvantage if you don't know code.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
like for me, for example, for me, coding is not my strongest skill, but
Yeah.
I manage, and you do need to know the basics, but as long as you've got the ability to learn, for me, I think that's the biggest thing.
Oh, all right.
But I would also like to highlight some of the courses that have helped me
Mm-hmm.
um, throughout my journey. So there is a lot of self-learning material that's available on cybersecurity, and I would recommend a website. There's a website called Cybrary. So it's it's like library but Cybrary.
Okay.
Um,
Cyber.
so basically, you log on, create an account, and you start learning. There are so many courses about cybersecurity that are available on there. Safe coding, things like ethical hacking, risks, cybersecurity risks, so much that's available out there. So you learn at your own pace. So it's like digital classrooms, and then you get certificates at the end. So as much as they're not academic certificates, but it's, there's a lot of value in it. A lot of the professionals that I know also use it quite a lot. I use it myself. So that's a very good place to start learning. And also, a lot of the networking courses are also quite beneficial, like your N Plus and your Security Plus courses that are available. And also some of these introductory security courses that most universities offer. I know UNISA offers quite a lot, UJ, a lot of these institutions do offer short courses in cybersecurity now. So that also helps very much.
Okay, no, that's very interesting. What we'll do is just get some of the links to these sites that you've mentioned, and we'll then share on our social media with our followers for our ladies who are looking to get into cybersecurity. So thank you
Okay.
very much for that. So where do you gain your inspiration from, or what do you gain your inspiration from, Anita?
I think for me, it's seeing women do well in technology. There's a particular lady that I like following. Her name is Amanda Dambos. I don't know if you know her. She actually even has a book out. So she's one of the pioneers and like a big leader in the IT space. And her journey is very interesting. She came from humble beginnings. She was basically able to defy the odds and climb up the corporate ladder as a female leader, and eventually ventured out into having her own business. And I also think another thing that inspires me quite a lot is my fear of not living up to my fullest potential, and having regrets and things like that. So I always try and make sure that everything I do passionately, and I do it to the best way that I can.
Yes, no, understood. Wow, no, that's so great. Speaking to you today has been very eye-opening and insightful, and we'd just like to thank you very much for your time. And I am very sure that most of our girls will gain a lot from this conversation, and we'll be sure to share those links with them regarding getting into cybersecurity as a career. And with that said, do you have any final words or advice out there for anyone that's looking to get into cybersecurity?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I think the final words that I'll share with the girls is that if you have a passion about something, do it. Whatever it is, just do it. And as I mentioned earlier, that you only basically miss the opportunities that you don't take. So if there's an opportunity that you want to take, go for it. If there's something that you want to do, create that opportunity for yourself. And it also helps to have a mentor. Find someone to guide you, because sometimes you need someone to show you the path. And also practice. Take up those courses and start learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess the key takeaway is that you never stop learning. Never stop
Yes,
learning.
never
That
ever
is
stop learning.
yes, that is the most important thing about anything that you get into. Thank you very much, Anita. This has been very insightful. Thank you. Thank you to all our listeners as well.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Thanks. Bye.